see what we can do about it, Tom.
They've been on a tidy order again, Alec.
I know it's always the same.
I shall have to do something about it.
One good thing, it's payday.
What's good about it? Haven't had a decent packet for 6 weeks. You chaps want to keep that boat going, then we'll have something to look forward to on Fridays. Yes, we'd been having all its trouble for a long time. And now Nines was going properly. There weren't anything like enough tubs. We'd overhauled all the rails and relaid them on the curve. We'd had all the tubs with vent axles taken out, and we'd tried several ways of loading the rope. But still, hardly a day went by without we were standing, because the belt had stopped. We'd got a real good face at Nines too, yet the pit wasn't hitting its target, and we were losing pay. So you can understand there were getting to be a lot of bad feeling. My mate Jack Ripley, Jack the Ripper they called him, he used to blind and curse worse than anyone, and blame the haulage men and the management and the coal board all at once. But it was just talk.
Well, Tom, what are you looking so worried about? Let them peoples is paid for the job, do it themselves. It's quite easy enough to do. What one's doing is this.
Now, Jack, what do you reckon one's doing?
Well, for a start, they want to keep that belt a-running. The way things are a-going, I shan't get fag money this week.
Fag money, that's a good one. It'll take more than anyone's pay to satisfy your thirst.
Tom, I've got a job with the coal board, then.
2:30 Monday afternoon. That'll be all right, then. I'll get my under major to see you round. OK. 2:30 Monday afternoon. Goodbye. Come in, Williams. That bloke from the explosives firm's just rung up to say he can't come till Monday afternoon now, so you'll have to take him.
But it's the Consultative Committee on Monday.
I know, that's why I can't take him.
Why the dickens couldn't he have come some other time?
What on earth are you complaining about? I'd rather do a pit shift any day than have to listen to a committee trying to tell me how to run my job.
That's not the point. There's some damn good notions come out of all the knocking and wrangling on that committee.
I'm always willing to listen to suggestions from the men. But what's wanted now is more coal and less talk.
We certainly want more coal and some new ideas for getting it. Nine's waiting for empties again this morning.
Cheer up, Jack. There's always your old age pension.
Well, this looks a rare mess to take home to the missus.
Oh, well, you got to take the rough with the smooth.
Rough? Wait until you've got 8 kids, then you can talk about the rough.
8 kids, Jack. 35 bob family allowance. No income tax. Oh, you would have been worth a little fortune if you hadn't drunk so much beer.
You've got to have something to fill your stomach with.
Remember the fire in 1911, when it broke out the top of the North Hill?
No, it didn't. I remember it well enough, but it broke out again the engine.
I tell you, it broke out. I tell you, it broke at the top of the North Hill because I remember coming through the doors on the Saturday afternoon.
Oh, no, you didn't. You couldn't get through.
Oh, no,
Football, cricket, bowls, even tennis. And there's welfare money given to them all.
Yes, but what about your pigeons? Not a sausage.
That's right. And look at the birds. They've been fast on these wires outside. And they're on colliery grounds, too.
They are, Alec, just what I mean.
I told you where it started, Evan. It started at the top of the North Hill where Pinky Coleman used to work.
No, you're wrong, Bernard. It didn't start there. It It started again the engine house in the pit bottom.
Well, I'm sure it started there, Evan.
Well, I know different. I was there all the while and I know you're wrong.
I was there and all, but I think it started there.
No, you're absolutely wrong. It started there again the engine house in the little pit bottom.
Well, I'll bet you a couple of bob.
Well, I'll bet you a couple of bob.
You should have seen him yesterday. He comes along to the loading farm with a look on his face like half a yard of misery. And says, what do you stop for now, as if he couldn't see for himself.
He's always belly aching. Here's Tom.
I thought you were on nights, Tom.
I can't see on nights. Oh, well, see you again.
Right on, mate.
Well, it stands to reason, doesn't it? They could easily get around it if they had the sense to make the tubs a bit bigger.
Strikes me there's a lot more coal talked around here than there's ever got out of the pit.
Well, supposing they fixed another 8 to 9 inches on top, which would make 400 or 500 weight difference, wouldn't it?
There might be something in it, Jack.
Don't make no odds. They'll never try it.
I'm not so sure. I'll bring it up at the committee on Monday.
You and your committee, they make me sick. Talk, that's all they ever do.
Sid! Didn't that fire that we had in 1911, it started in the engine house in the little pit bottom, didn't it?
I couldn't tell you, Evan. I wasn't born.
Just a talking shop, that's all it is. Would they do anything about corks for Arthur's birds? Not on your life.
That's it.
Ah, but that's different. It's not their concern.
Why isn't it, I'd like to know? It's welfare, and that's their business.
Well, maybe it is, Alec, but Arthur's never mentioned it. I'll try and bring it up.
I'll bet you'll never get anywhere with it if you do.
But I've just got to be cautious before accepting changes like this. And while I'm on the subject, gentlemen, I'd like to point out that despite the provision of the new snap-tins, paper is still left strewn about the pit. I saw 9 pieces by the loading point this morning. Picked up 7 of them myself.
Mr. Chairman, could you tell us what you did with the other 2?
Couldn't reach him. Well, I think that's all this afternoon.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman. Something I want to bring up. It was too late to get it on the agenda, but it's important.
Well, let's hear it.
It's about the haulage system at Nines. Another idea that might get around the trouble. Quite simple, too.
Never mind the trimmings, get to the point.
Well, it's just to make the tubs bigger. Put another 8 to 9 inches on the top, and it would increase your haulage capacity.
Really, Tom, you don't imagine that that's a new idea, do you?
Well, it's not been tried anyway. It's not even been mentioned in all the talk about the haulage.
Well, we won't argue about that. But it's not been tried because there's an awful lot of snags which you don't seem to have taken into account. For instance, even if the ropes would take the added load, it would mean big alterations to the roads. And what about the tippler?
We could change the tippler.
It's worth studying, Mr. Chairman, a bit more. After all, anything to help overcome these hold-ups should be looked into.
By all means. I'll get Mr. Williams and the haulage deputy for the district to look into it. But they'll find an awful lot of snags.
He just said it couldn't be done. Wasn't practical. And I never had a chance to argue the point properly.
I told you, didn't I?
And you said your committee gets some protection for my birds. They won't do anything about that either, I suppose.
Matter of fact, Arthur, with it being late and asking me too late to get it on the agenda, I couldn't fetch it up. But I'll get it on next time, I promise you.
It's this way, Tom. You've got twice the brains that I've got. But sometimes an ignorant fool like me can see what you clever ones miss. You think the committee's for the men's benefit, but you're being fooled. They get it up just to give us a chance of blowing off steam.
That's right, Jack. They're not allowed to discuss wages. Just shows it's a lot of hot air.
Hot air, is it? We'll see who's talking a lot of hot air. Just because Jack's idea wasn't accepted first go, it doesn't mean it won't be. I'll bash you wait till it is.
Good old Tom.
I'm right, aren't I?
You could be. It all depends. It all depends if it is workable. And mind you, Tom, even if it is, it's not the real solution of the haulage trouble.
I'm not saying it is, but it could make things a lot better if only we could get it tried out.
I'm sure we can. Only you went about it all wrong.
Well, I never had a chance properly to explain it at the meeting.
You didn't have enough to explain, and it was easy to shut you up because you hadn't got the facts.
Well, let's get the facts. Then we'll show them. First of all, we had a look at the tippler. And luckily we found it would almost take the bigger tubs as it was, and only needed cutting away a bit at the gussets, and that could easily be done by our own fitters. Next, what about the haulage? We knew the engine had the power, but we had to find out whether the ropes and clips were strong enough to stand the extra load. The cage at our pit was plenty big enough, so we didn't bother about that. But the boss was right when he said that bigger tubs would mean a lot of repairs to the haulage roads. But when we came to measure up to see how much ripping was needed to give them room to travel without catching the roof or sides, we found there wasn't a great lot to be done. And as for altering the tubs, well, there shouldn't be much difficulty about that. And as for altering the tubs, that could be done gradually by the welders. And as we get the new ones as replacements, the larger type could be specified.
You're making more of a case of it this time, but have you considered the cost of all this?
I shouldn't think that's a serious objection, Mr. Chairman. The cost would be very small compared to the extra output we're likely to get if this idea is carried out.
Yes, if. Now look here, I'm not against this idea, don't think that for a moment. But we must look into it from every angle. It's not so long ago since you were all on to me to do something drastic to speed up the handling of the tubs on the surface. It certainly looked a good idea. But when we came to examine it from a practical standpoint, it just wouldn't work. In fact, we spent quite a lot of time and money with no results.
And as the haulage workers' representative, this proposal has my full support.
I'm sorry. It's all very well having bright ideas on paper, but putting them into practice is another matter. And after all, if they don't work out, the responsibility isn't yours, it's mine.
Mr. Chairman, the responsibility belongs to all of us. Aye, even to the responsibility of falling behind our target figures.
Wait a minute, Joe.
I'm not having any more political speeches from you, Joe King.
Now look here, Mr. Chairman, we've been arguing long enough. Most of us here in favour for trying this out, and we've discussed it in the lodge, and the meeting there was in favour of it. Of course, there's ifs and buts, there always is when you try something new, and I don't see the sense of talking about it any longer. Either we decide to give these big tubs a fair trial, or I move we take the matter to the area committee, and beyond that too, if necessary.
Let's have some order, gentlemen, please. We're quite capable of dealing with this ourselves, and there's no need to take it beyond this committee. I maintain it would be wrong to agree to a wholesale alteration of this kind on the basis of an idea that's not been tried out, but there's no reason why a small-scale trial shouldn't be made, and then, if it works...
Remember the piebald having Scotty, he was called. The best pony I ever set my eyes on.
Ah, I remember him, Bernard. A good pony. But what about Bob, that big chestnut that worked on the south? There was a pony for you. He could pull more full tubs than any pony in the pit.
Not a patch on Scotty, Evan, not a patch.
I'm sure he was, Bernard. I remember Bob pulling 8 full tubs along 14's road one day.
He was nothing to Scotty, Evan, the best ponies ever anybody seen down the pit.
Ah, they was all good ponies in this pit, but Bob was the best of the lot.
Oh, I don't think so. I think Scotty was the finest you ever seen here.
No, Bob was the best pony we had in the pit.
All right, have it your own way, Evan, but I think Scotty was the best.
Well, Jack, now that those big tubs are a success, when they're all converted, there should be no more complaints about the belt standing, and you'll get your fag money all right.
Well, Mr. Williams, now that we've got that straightened out, we'll find something else for them to put right.
You've changed your tune a bit nowadays, haven't you?
You've got some nice birds there, Arthur. Oh, I think we're doing a bit better now, Alec.
We're not doing a mess.
No. You've got some nice birds there, Arthur.
Aye.
Oh, Arthur's all right. Now he's got the corks on and getting his bonus regular. He's thinking he'll line a bit of cash out to get something special.
Very nice.